very excited, Lee.
Hello. How you doing? Okay. Was I sitting
up,
backstage and actually hear the word "some weird, strange magician"?
He heard you,
man. I'm sorry,
you say
bro.
the words. He did. Did you hear me though? I did. I did.
To
back
be
you up
fair,
there. I was like, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
I've been like,
I'll let you off.
I haven't slept for a while, dude. I'm a bit incoherent.
Yeah, tripped over on the old caffeine.
Yeah, I definitely tripped on the caffeine. But I'm back. We're in the room. We're in the room. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
It's nice to be back.
Back in flow. You're doing your thing.
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, things are still a bit slow. Hence one of the reasons I wanted to come on today and talk about those forgotten industries, because I think so many businesses, myself included, are still being affected under the COVID rules. We're still, travel, entertainment, still in a very funny place.
It's something I wanted to speak to you about, because obviously you were here last, well, both of you were representing this whole campaign with me on the BBC as well.
Last year,
yeah.
And I watched your video back, Lee, and I was like, blimey, I don't want to share any more or any less than you want to, and I'll leave it open to you. But it's been tough, man. Like,
yeah. I think it's been the craziest probably 3 years I've ever had. And if I'm being totally honest, it's been testing, because for me, prior to the 3 years, everything was perfect. Everything was running smoothly, everything was booming. And all of a sudden, I've had a lot of personal problems. I lost my mum, going through a sort of marriage breakdown, and with no work coming in and everything being taken away, it becomes testing, and it's in a way, it's a good thing, because it's like, how do you overcome those steps? It makes you a better person. But, you just look back to that, all that BBC interview we was all on last time, we was in such an unknown place. And I think for a lot of people, that's improved, but for others, it hasn't. And I've never seen, so many people having so many problems, or spoke to so many people with so many problems. And you know me, and those that are watching that know me know that I love helping people. But it's been very difficult to help people sometimes when, it's difficult yourself, and when the industry isn't there, because usually the advice I can give people to go and do this and go and do that, and, help them increase their workflow or get back on top. But when that workflow isn't there, it's like, where do people go? And for the first time ever, it's been very difficult to actually help those people that have been forgotten about, because there's a lot of us, but overall we're a minority, so we're still forgotten. But it's it's been testing without a doubt. But me, I like a challenge.
We had this came up a few times earlier around, wanting, without being able to help yourself, how can you help anyone else? And you are among a few other people I could think of in the Shifties community. When I think about our community and how we've supported each other over the last couple of years, almost the first thing you say to me without any prompt is, "Hey, Alex, sorry, I haven't been around." And it's like the first thing you say before anything. And I always say to you, you don't need to be around. Like, you've got to look after yourself sometimes. Sometimes life gets in the way, and things that are a priority, you've got to deal with those things. And, from speaking to you recently before this, it certainly feels like you've come through the other side, and you're in such a positive place around life. I'm really proud of you, mate, for what you've come through, because you've come through a lot and relentlessly supporting other people throughout that.
And that's been my goal. I mean, I feel, although there's been a lot going on that's been testing, I feel like one of the lucky ones, because I do have a positive mindset. I have got a good outlook on life. I have got amazing people around me, and I'm able to share that with others. And the things that we can do is what keeps you going forward. I'm a big believer that you have to stay positive. It's very difficult to fall into that negative spiral. And I've seen a lot of people do it, and a lot of strong, really, not the word is, but I've seen so many people that you look at on socials and you think these people are flying, they're amazing, they're invincible, and you just see them fall off and just they can't get back up. And that's been a really strange thing to see over the last couple of years, when you see these people that they look like machines, like they're totally invincible, and all of a sudden they're stuck. And it's reassuring that we are all human in a way. But for me, I'm one of the lucky ones that, although I've had, really difficult times, I've had to really test myself, push myself to the limits. At the end of the day, you take the positive from that and you go, what have I learned? And I've learned so much. and it's made me such a stronger person, such a better person, and it's made me reevaluate the things that are important. And I think before, anyone that knew me before will know that I was a workaholic. I was completely caught up in my work. I was a machine, and I still am to a degree, but maybe in a different context. And I think it's how you move forward with that going into the new situation we're in. Because I think about summertime. A lot of this will be a thing of the past, and I think things will be opening up. I look in my diary, and I'm going to be the busiest person I've ever been, because the backlog of all the work that's not happening is all going to be coming back sort of like late March, sort of into the summer. But, if I'm being honest, in a way, I don't want to be that busy anymore. I want to calm down and slow down a bit and reevaluate a bit. The hard thing for me over everything really was losing my passion. I think I said this on here last year, that the place I was in was a bit of a dark place, because my passion had been taken away. I love helping people. I love performing. I'm a magician. My whole life is about creating experiences for people, and I couldn't do that. And that was really, really tough. And I'm looking at the diary thinking I'm going to have, an influx of being able to do this, but you've also got to get that balance of what you've learned in the downtime. So I kind of want to get a better work-life balance, but at the same time, it's hard to find that, and it's hard to find a way to get everything that you want. And obviously that's never going to happen, but it's really hard looking in the diary thinking, what do I want to do going forward? Do I want to be super busy again? Do I want more family time? Do I want to just find the balance? And it's just, it's kind of, that's where I am at the moment.
He's totally speaking, like, it could be my life. Literally, Lee, honestly, it's been amazing. This is the quietest I think I've been since we've been here, just listening to your story. And what I'm really humbled by is the fact that you've brought your truth and you've brought your honesty. What we don't have, I believe, is a very clear narrative. We're never going to get it right. And I say we're never going to get it right with confidence because of the very nature of the way in which we work. But, you talk about our social media. I've got a friend of mine my cousin is helping me with my nutrition at the moment. And I told her I was in a really dodgy place over the past 2 years. My fitness had fallen off, my diet had fallen off. I kind of gave up on a lot of outward activity and really focused internally on the things that were going on for me. And that meant that I fell off. Now, an awful lot of people were going, well, Danielle, where have you been? A lot of positivity. And I needed to do that in order to rebuild and recover. And I think when people look at you and you're not where you were before, it's almost like with a frown, what's wrong? Don't frown. I was in my element watching Narcos, mate. I was feeding my soul and my life with the things that I needed at that time. And because I wasn't showing those things outwardly, it didn't give across that narrative. We've got to be very careful with this idea, I think, that we can't have these down points. It's life. We do have these down points. And when we do have them, we also need to understand what people need from us.
100%.
My cousin said to me, absolutely, you have to.
They're the times that make you reevaluate. I mean, I spent a lot of my downtime sitting in the hot tub watching movies. Amazing, right?
See? Movies, man. We talked about this earlier.
The amount of pictures I got of him in his bloody hot tub. He's like, "What are we up to, mate?" He's I'm in my hot tub looking at and he just had perspective on that. There's a wonderful mentor of business I had a few years back, and he said to me about plateaus and how to appreciate and realize that they are a gift. Sometimes if you actually see a plateau in your life in terms of that kind of worse still than being, for me personally, my own personal experience, I'd rather be angry or upset or happy or excited than plateau of kind of the meh. And when a plateau comes, thank the plateau and ask it what it's there to teach you.
Amen.
And go and actually go on that journey. I remember late night conversations with you, Lee. We'd speak, especially during a lot of lockdowns. Lee and I would spend a lot of time on the phone together, and sometimes one of us just wouldn't even say a word. It'd be like 20 minutes, and then like Lee would just explode for like 20 minutes, and then at the end, I wouldn't say anything. And he would just go, "Yes, sorry, I feel better now." And that was it. That was that.
You've got to have a bit of a rant, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you for somebody, Lee? And that's the question I ask people. Beautiful. And I've said that to Alex. Who are you for someone? Now, Alex has just mentioned that you were that positivity for a lot of people, right? You knew that for one another, you were the person that you could go to and just get rid of it. And there doesn't need to be any further narrative. You've finished? Yep, wicked, speak to you later. Yeah. Job done. But you have to find those.
It should be, right? I think, when you've got those sort of people around you that you can do that, it's fantastic. I mean, for me, I think everything comes down to the people you hang around with a lot of the time. I've been very lucky because the people who I walk with are incredible. And you've only got to sometimes speak to those people, pick up the phone. This is a point I want to get across. Anyone that is feeling a bit low, just pick up the phone, speak to people. Because when you get that conversation, you realize that you're not the only one. Like, I speak to people in my industry that I know might be a bit quiet. And I don't believe anything I see on social media. When I see all these posts, how busy someone is or they're doing, that's probably, I call it Facebook busy, right? It's not just posting up old posts and things like that. They're not busy because I'm always busy in my industry. And if I'm pretty quiet, I know other people are quiet. And it's always, that's a good time for me to reflect, reconnect with people and go, well, what should we do? How can we overcome this? What can we do differently? And it's always that mindset of how can you move forward? Like when we had downtime, I was like, what can I do? And there's things I've wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to get myself in shape. I started working out every other day. I've been doing that now for a year. Feel so much better. These are things that I wouldn't have done before, and they would have been holding me back. So it's time to do all the things now, or in the past year that you couldn't do before. And I feel so much better for doing those things. And going into my next busy season, it's going to have helped me. It's just the people that sit around and you just fall into that slump and you don't do the things that you should be doing. It's finding that mindset, and it's not always easy, but it's finding that mindset to do those things that you need to do. And Alex, you know me very well. I've always been one of the lucky ones that I have this mindset. I can seem to just switch it on when I need it. And I might take a few days where I sit around and don't do anything. I think, oh, this isn't me. What am I doing? This is stupid. Sort yourself out, Lee. And luckily, I can switch it on pretty quickly, get back out there. And it's that whole, let's just do it. And then when you do it, you feel a million times better. Then that makes you want to do it again, right? So it's...
Can I just challenge that? I just want to challenge it, just because I think there's something there that's really important. The downtime, that 3 days, or you reference there, I think that's absolutely fundamental to your good day. Like in the sense of, you say that when you have that conversation in the mirror, sometimes it takes having a conversation with yourself, getting to a point where you've got to go down a bounce. You've got to hit something to bounce back. And that might be a conversation with yourself. That might be a conversation with a friend. I don't know. They're just, how do you feel about that? Like, because when you're down,
you've got to have that conversation with yourself first.
Yeah.
You've always got that conversation. I'm very good at looking at the positives in my life, and I think that's important. And you've got to remind yourself every day. I mean, a lot of people know that I'm big into manifestation, love it, right? And more the science behind it than the woo-woo side of it.
He loves manifestation.
I will get up every morning, and I won't focus on anything negative in my life. I'll focus on all the good things. I make my bed, and I'll pull the corners of each bed. I'll do 4 manifestations straight away. So what am I thankful for? So every day, you win the morning, you win the day, right? So you start off in the morning, you do your positivity, you do your gratitude, and you feel better straight away. By the time you've even made that first cup of coffee, I've thanked myself for all the things that I'm grateful for in my life. There might be a lot of things that aren't going well, but there's a million other things that are, and it's easy to forget about those. So, really important point to people is just focus on the things that you do have. And I'm very lucky. I have so much. I feel like I can't really moan, apart from the fact that I've had some personal issues and my work's not there. I've got so much to be thankful for. And it's reminding yourselves of those things all the time. I think we're just brought up with wrong information. Like one of my favorite ones, to give an example, is the way you look at things in life. I mean, we always hear these sayings. It's like that, oh, you only live once, do it. I don't look at it like that. I go, well, you only die once. You can live every day, right? So what are you going to do?
It's very true. Yeah, I do like that.
There's so many things. I always look at things differently. If things aren't going right, I go, well, that one thing isn't going right. There's 100 things that are. So let's just go and do it.
It's interesting because this, I think, is where my experience or my expertise, I suppose, has to come in there. Because there might be somebody that's listening to this conversation going, but why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? And you've said that you're blessed enough, Lee, to be able to have that positivity and that positive mindset, which is amazing. And this information, Alex, is where we need to be very clear between the capacity to be able to do that and the capacity not to. Because there are some people, unfortunately, in the world, in our community even, who will be unable to do that because they are unwell. And I think it's different. It's important to make that disparity between the two, because what we have in society is this need or this want to do your best, go for it. Those people who are unwell might have a condition, might have an illness where they go, well, I can't do that. Yeah. Why can't I do that? Why can't I just think positively. You know, you've got somebody that's joining us later on with that negative mindset that she's battling daily. And so, you know, again, between our capacity to be able to think positively and actually, I might need help to be able to overcome something because this isn't working for me.
And that's again when you need to understand that it's okay not to be okay, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So when he does it, so when I'm in those low points, you know, again, it's like, in a way, you need those to be able to move forward, right? You need to have that negative mindset, like we were saying earlier. But I think my only advice to people in that sense would be just to find something that you do love and just try and focus channel your energy. And even if it's just one thing, it could be something so simple. You know, but when I'm feeling really low, I went through a phase like last lockdown when I was feeling like that. I couldn't get in a positive mindset. Nothing was working for me. All the manifestation in the world was only manifesting negative thoughts, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. So what you've got to do is just find one thing. How I got out of it was just find one thing that I enjoyed doing. I put all my energy into that for as much
Narcos.
as I could. And love it.
It was Narcos, like 3 episodes a day. Like seriously, I'll go on about Narcos.
I binge watch the whole lot back to back.
That was great, right?
I'm halfway through watching it twice. Amazing.
But I love that, Lee, because you said, you know, throw yourself into that and do find something that you love and do it. When I was in bed for 3 hours watching Narcos, and everyone's like, well, what are you wasting your time watching TV? I'm like, don't tell me nothing. I'm not wasting my time. This is my recovery. This is my healing. It's giving me space. It's taking me out of my own mindset. And when I emerge from that space, you feel much better, right? So I'm really glad you mentioned that.
But your fire, like I did it with the retreat. You saw me before I went to a retreat.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, I'd be worried if you weren't worried about me.
Yeah.
You know, we all have a process, I think, and the beauty of this platform we have and the beauty of this conversation we have today is it's that acceptance to say, if you are there, then thank yourself for realizing that.
Yeah, well done.
You know, thank yourself for understanding that. And then if you have like for me, like there's a text, I'll share this with you. So I text Christine. When was this? This was when I went so I was just in the process of trying to do a deal with Souk. I went up to Newcastle. I was at that really intense period. There was what else was going on? There's a lot going on. And I wonder if I can find it. I basically text Christine, must be November. And I just said, I'm going to crash.
I'm done.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to crash. The only question is, will it happen to me or will we facilitate me crashing? I knew I was crashing. I knew it's going to happen. I wasn't going to try and pretend it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming and it hit me like a train. And I was like, but I couldn't stop it. That's fine. There was no point in me. I can't change that.
No.
I just accepted that.
Yeah.
I told someone that I trusted. And then she said, and her response was the exact response ahead.
Yeah.
Well, let's make sure there's a controlled landing.
And remove you from everything.
And remove me from everything. And just literally, and that's what amazing people are for each other, you know. So I think,
and again, that's you reached out to somebody, right? This is the thing. It's like if people are in that negative mindset, you know, don't be alone. Pick up the phone, speak to people. Whenever I felt low or things aren't going my way, I might spend a whole day picking up and talking to people. I don't care if they're in a negative place. You're just talking to people, right? You share. It makes you feel better because you're not the only one that's having problems. Sometimes you're not the only one that's struggling, and sometimes you can feel like you're the only one. I'd have days where I thought, oh my god, I'm the only one with no work coming in. The phone's not ringing. This Corona thing's destroyed my business. Nothing's working. Doesn't matter what I do. It's not going to. You know, it's not the case. You speak to other people and you go, actually, it's all right. You know, with other people that vote as me, it's okay. And then positivity does come out of those conversations.
Yeah, you feel better, don't you? Feel a bit lighter.
Just go walk around the park, around the block, and just clear your head a little bit, and just go get some fresh air. You know, the fact I know I'm alive, I'm breathing. Right, that's good.
And you know, Lee's mentioned about having networks. Somebody like yourself, and I've talked to you guys today about my friend, you know, my Jolene. Oh, Jolene. Seriously, I have to say that every time I say it. But, you know, without her, I don't know how I would have coped for the past 2 years, having that space and that time. But that's also what Supercell Mind do. You know, they provide these spaces for us to connect.
And that's on the bottom there, if anyone is in that situation.
And have that information, you know, what is it that you need and when do you need it? And having that self-awareness to be able to then kind of join in, I suppose, or utilize the resources we have available to us.
I don't think we can like underexpose this point because it's like it will change your life. Just really appreciating this for what it is. Like yesterday, I played match for Mind with Jamie, and we're going to go tune into Jamie in Cambridge after this conversation. And I'm in a changing room with a load of blokes, and just that brought up so many memories of being 16, 17 years old playing in football, and that it wasn't this conversation. There's no way that this conversation is happening in the changing room in a football.
Yeah.
But actually, then just immediately realizing that because of people like Jamie and because people like yourselves that come on these channels and sharing your experiences and opening up the conversation, what you're doing, and I mean this, is you're giving other people permission to have these conversations and to open up. And I think that's so important. And I think, Lee, knowing you so well, and when we first met to where we are now, even as a friend, as our friendship has evolved, but you and myself as a person involved, there's no way when we're sat in where is it place in King's Cross?
Oh yeah.
A kind of bar. It's a very nice bar in King's Cross.
Yeah,
anyway, we're sat in there. Lee's there, suited and booted. Me and Danny, my cousin, suited and booted. Spencer was there, all suited and booted. We're all playing this part, living this life. And, now look at us, sat in our T-shirts, being our, true selves. I think it's just wonderful. And I thank you for being so open and honest, as always, man. It's really important. I think more important than you realise.
We all need to be honest with each other. I've been a big believer. I said to a lot of other people in my industry, particularly, they'll ring me up and they'll say to me, "You all right?" I'll go, "Yeah, not too bad." I said I could be better, and then I'll say, "How are you?" I might ask them first, "How are you?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm really, really good." "How are you, really?"
I love that. Love that. There it is. The second question.
They start to open up, right? And I say, things aren't great. It's just, if I stood there and went, "Oh yeah, booming, yeah. Oh, from March, I've got all," they'd just go, "Oh, I wish I'd never had this conversation." It's just honest. I think, I'm quiet. Things aren't great at the moment. I've got a lot of outgoing. Things are still cancelling things, and they start to go, "Oh yeah, me too." Then you have this lovely, honest, open conversation, right? And you just feel better for being honest and listening to other people. It's all about listening to people. If anyone wants to pick up the phone, I'm here. If anyone wants to, I'll listen. I'm just here to listen, and
look at that.
It's just important that we're there to support each other. And one of the things I've seen in my industry, which was never there before to the extent it is now, and you'll know how passionate I am about this, is collaboration. I've never seen so many people club together to help each other, listen to each other, support each other, be there to help each other out if they were, having problems or maybe need some support with something, or even just advice. Everyone's there, and especially the people that worked together recently have never been more relevant, and they've all got more time to do it. And I think people have realised it's not about making loads of money. It's not about going out there and doing these things. It's about doing what makes you happy and helping other people. That's it. That's it. And if you want to get rewarded, just do that well, and you'll get rewarded for it.
Amazing message, bro. Well, look, I've got two questions. I've asked them so far. To most people, I kept forgetting the light one, but I'll ask that one first. We're currently in purple mode. We need to change the light to a new color. You've got selections
green,
of
orange, pink, blue.
Pink.
Would you like to? Pink. Beautiful. Lovely. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. We're in pink. We're in pink.
Subtle, but yes.
And then my second question to you, Lee, is what are you most excited about in 2022?
I've got two. I'm going to be very quick with that. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say one of them. I'm going to say it anyway.
I like it.
My first one is the fact that I can't wait, and I'm excited about getting back out there and creating experiences for people, because it's been difficult the last couple of years. And I think, although I've been busy on and off, it's going to be booming, I think, later this year. And I can't wait to go and share that with people. And, and I think we all need to get together and do that a bit more. And the other one is the party.
Oh, the party!
Am I allowed to mention it or not?
Yeah, so we promised. So just before Christmas, literally before I was going away to the retreat, I'd text. I think it was even Christmas Eve, wasn't it, Lee? I think. Yeah. I just had this urge. I was like, I need to give the Shifties community something positive to get excited about. And Lee is the king of parties, especially with all of his. When I say weird and wonderful, you see, weird and wonderful friends, because when he's bringing electric dinosaurs and stormtroopers and whatever else to a party.
that.
That's weird and wonderful.
It is weird,
right?
wonderful, yeah.
So I'll back myself up on the first point.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to be hosting a party. We're looking at probably March, April time. It will be a networking event. Don't worry. It will definitely go through expenses, but there'll be a party element to that.
I'm looking forward to seeing people, collaborating with people. If we can kick that off with a party, Alex, that'll be booming. One thing I guarantee is I will put on with you the best, biggest party anyone has ever seen.
Damn
wow.
right.